Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading session. I hope everybody had a very nice holiday weekend. It's always nice to have a 3-day break from time to time. Okay, so the markets just opened up here a few minutes ago, or about a minute ago, pardon me. And we're looking at the NASDAQ. I'm also following gold and crude oil. But of course, I'd be happy to take a look at any market which is of interest to you. You can see here on the Eagle, very, very quiet. I guess I have this set on the 24/7 session. I was wondering why I have this little overnight here from the Sunday session. But the markets left off here on Friday at around the 45.15, 45.16, and that's more or less where we're opening. So not much in the way of an opening gap. It looks as though price is declining a little out of the open. We are getting a rule of 3 signal here on the Eagle, of all things. We don't really have a test of the extreme, and it is still very early, but I've mentioned to you before that the Eagle is one of these tools that sometimes I will try an early signal on, and it looks like we're going to get a second push on this entry. All the second push means is that we allow the signal to engage, and then we watch to see if the signal retreats, and we're looking to sell it, in this case, on some renewed momentum. The key to this trade would be risking it above this high. You got to be able to cover it near this 45.30 area, because that's going to tell us whether we are truly wrong or on the wrong side of this trade, or whether the market is just kind of flip-flopping a little bit. And you can see here from the trade forecaster that we have 110 minutes of trend mode. Well, wouldn't that be fun? All right, so I'll just park this rule of 3 signal right here. And of course, with the rule of 3, ideally we want to see a retest of the high before the failure. So this is all very, very early. There's a very real possibility that the market's going to try to bring us in and then do this retest. The safer entry would be below that low right there. So you can take your pick, but I'll take it a little bit early and hope that the sellers don't snag us, or pardon me, that the buyers don't snag us on those lows. But it's early. The market's still looking for some direction. You can see here on the hawk, very sideways, yellow bars. So it's kind of funny because normally after a holiday weekend, the market very often will hit the ground running, so to speak. Crude oil just tried to put in a little bit of a rally, but here's crude oil on the hawk. They're also very, very sideways. Lots of yellow bars here on the hawk. So nothing really tradable there just yet. Is my crude even on? Oh yeah, there it goes. Boy, that was a long time without a tick for crude oil. And not much going on in gold either, so a fairly soft start to the session. Look at the width of this bar though, oh, you can't see it very well, but this bar is starting to get a little bit of traction in the volume department. So what that tells us is there's a lot of interest in this bar. We don't really know yet whether the buyers or sellers are going to control that bar, but there is a lot of interest there. Let's go here to the Raptor. we might be getting a soft edge buy signal on the Raptor. So the soft edge buy, well, I guess it's kind of in limbo. I was going to say you could also consider this a hard edge bounce. Yes, we've drifted through the hard edge. We are producing counter trend signals. We have made this lower swing high, right? That's our itty bitty test of the extreme. You could see this. There's the signal. So let me just pop into that. And we'll get a stop enabled here below the lows, and we're going to give it a little bit of wiggle room. There we go. And I'm going to cancel my Eagle trade for now. Or you could take the Eagle trade with trend also. You can see we're getting a red bar buy signal. This is the same signal that we're essentially looking at on the Raptor. I don't normally try to take contrary signals. I usually just try to trade the market one direction at a time. So we're currently long here on the Raptor. Let me get back here and explain this signal to you, and I'm just going to hold my stops right down there. So whether you're going to see this as a hard edge bounce or a soft edge buy, it's actually both, I suppose. The key is this little swing higher. And you can see from the width of the bars that there's a fair amount of volume associated with these. So I'm going to keep my trend line there. And we'll see whether the buyers can muster anything out of this. Again, very, very early. It's only, what are we, 6-7 minutes into the session. You should never feel like you're rushed into a trade. Now, if we see the buyers recover the market here one more time, I am going to become more aggressive with my stops. Perhaps go to an ATR stop. Nope, that won't do. Will parabolics work? Yes, I can go to a parabolic. All right. So just looking for the buyers to recover. Give us one more push, because what's going to happen is if the buyers recover the market here and they try to push the market higher, they're really going to put the heat on the sellers. So this whole 45-20 area is going to become very influential. And if the buyers can break through there, well, then we should see a proper retest of this 45-28 line. All right, here they go, or they're trying anyways. Come on. See, some of the parameters are coming in line. We're getting a green warning dot anyways. Well, we had a green warning dot. Come on, you guys and girls. Get up there. Come on, just a little bit. sometimes you have to talk nice to it. All right, so now we're going to see the fight. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more aggressive here. I will enable the swing high-low. We'll take it below there. Oops, sorry. Let's do that. There. Don't want to crowd things too much just yet. And in fact, I may leave it just below this swing low. So the buyers tried to muster a rally there. Here come the sellers. This is kind of last chance now for the buyers. If they lose their grip here, we're going to get that rule of three signal here on the eagle. See? 1, 2, 3. And I can set up to short below the low, cover above the high. Again, it's important that you try to cover above the high. We don't have a lot of direction to the market just yet. The rule of three is essentially a counter trend signal. So by definition, there has to be a trend before. Otherwise, it's not counter trend. What I'll do is I'll set this up so it will effectively be a reversal, 44.11, 45.11 half. Okay. Wow, what a balanced market this morning. I would love to see one more bullish bar here. That would give me an excuse to roll below this low. This is very much a 50-50 type proposition right now. Look at the Geiger counter. It's so evenly balanced. The needle dead even, the dial dead even. Crude put in a nice rally, not so much on the hawk, but while we've been watching the NASDAQ here, we got a nice little trend change signal off of the Falcon. Might have been a little bit of a nail biter because it seems to be making a little bit of a sideways pennant type formation. But still, we got a clean breakout from there. You can see how quiet crude oil has been the last few days. I guess that was Friday's session, which is to be expected. Holiday weekend and all. All right, so we've got a couple of bars now in our favor. I'm going to roll my stop in below this low. If the market fails at this point, well, it's probably gonna ditch. If you're comfortable with leaving your stop below this low, that is the better stop. Okay, so I see gold making a couple of upticks, as is crude. All right, here's the big test. Somebody get in there and take 45.20. Oh my goodness, what are the highs here? We've got matching highs at 45.20 quarter. So right now we're topping out at 45.19 3/4. If we see somebody tick 45.20, we will see them tick 45.20 quarter. Oh, the buyers are trying to chew through the orders. And if we can see 45.20 half, then I think the sellers are going to start to jump ship. Come on, get up there. Come on. Okay, there's 19, there's 20 and 20 quarter. There we go. Somebody took 45.20 half, and if they can tick it again, we should see the sellers start to jump ship. See how they're trying to knock it back down, so there's obviously a lot of selling pressure here. Come on. Ooh, the sellers are trying really hard. Gold and crude a lot more bullish this morning. We might be getting a first micro macro cross here in gold, and I am using the alternate settings on my gold chart. That's not required. Gold has enough volatility to it that you can use your regular default settings. But in case you're wondering why mine is looking a little bit different, that's why I've got the alternate settings. We're working a first micro macro cross. The macro line is not in sync yet, so we'll keep a lookout for that, as well as the Falcon here on gold, working a possible trend change signal. So things looking enticing, shall we say, for the gold market. Gold very choppy of late. Okay, so I'm going to move into the parabolics now, I think. Yes, I will. I'll move into the parabolics. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive with my stop. We've taken out this 45.20 area. We should see some follow through from here. Of course, if we don't, that just tells us it was a little bit of a bull trap, a little bait and switch going on. Come on, get up there. This bar here, that is our breakout bar that has this little bit of a tail. If you're a little bit anxious about the trade, you can cover below there. That will also put you with your hard edge. Almost to the break-even trigger. Come on, don't stop now. Where's Ray Burke when I need him? Get him in here. Push! He always used to break me up with that. Here, we'll give it a little push with the mouse. That'll help. Come on, get up there. Obviously, I haven't checked the reports today. I'm wondering why the market's moving so slow. Are we waiting on an announcement of some sort? Oh, consumer confidence is out in a few minutes. I didn't think that would be such a big one, but maybe that's what they're waiting on. That's entirely possible. All right, so we've hit the break-even tab. We are playing with their dime now. And hopefully we'll also tag that first profit target. Oh, come on. I guess I can safely cancel this Eagle trade. We're not getting that rule of three signal. While we've been nursing this Hawk trade, the Raptor trade, we also had a first micro-macro cross signal here on the Hawk. And that one might have been the better trade to take because I think we hit our profit target. Yes, we did. Hit our profit objective and then did the reversal. Sounds like I just got tagged on the Raptor trade, which is unfortunate. Well, got tagged at the break-even. We'll see whether my break-even trigger was too quick or not. Sometimes what happens when the market tests the up end or the buy side, if there's a failure here now, we could see the market reverse and try to test the bottom end of the trading range. If there's no more interest in buying, we'll see. We'll see. The Raptor might give us a soft edge sell. Again, we're hunting for direction, so these are not what we would refer to as our high probability signals. But you see how we're getting a tiny test of the extreme here? If we come back with a sell signal, given that there was very little upside momentum, it may be worth trying to short it to see if the sellers are going to knock the market down. Certainly if we get back below this 45.20 area, remember how stubborn everybody was there? If we can get something going on around the 45.20 line, generate some sort of signal there, that would be a worthwhile sell attempt, I think. So far not much going on in here in the hawk other than that first micro macro cross. The eagle floundering a little bit, but we're getting a better test of the extreme for this rule of three that we've been waiting on. Even though the signal technically developed right here, if you're currently short the eagle, again, your stops need to be above this swing high. That's the safe place for you to be. All right, here they come. Let's see if we get that rule of three now. We don't look at a counter trend signal that often in the Falcon, but we are getting a double dot signal here. If this were a little bit higher, it would be worth trying to short it. And we're getting a macro pullback, so kind of in limbo here. And right back at that 45.19, 45.20 line. Come on, give me the signal. Get all my ducks in a row, come on. The hawk looking a little bullish with that macro pullback. I'm hoping, oh darn it, that macro pullback actually tripped. Now here's something that I don't point out to you very often because I don't want you looking for counter trend signals. But any failed signal is actually a counter trend signal. So here's a macro pullback signal. If that signal fails, that's actually a sellable signal. here they come back with the buy signal. So we're getting a couple warning dots. They're going to try to get us to buy in here at the high. The Falcon is showing a matching signal to that. We've got our warning dots right here. Signal should also print near the high. All right, there's that macro pullback signal still trying to work itself out, still getting the warning dots. Working on a possible green bar sell. I'm not keen on shorting that because our band is bullish, but still interesting to see that we're getting some selling pressure going on. All right. The buyers are showing up again. We're about to print our signal. Like I said, we're going to get a signal here on the Falcon. You can set it up, take it above the high, cover below there. That would be ideal. If we get the signal here on the Raptor, I'll just punch in with a buy order. Or you can park the order above here also. Remember, if you're using the Trailblazer tool, these orders are live the moment you put them on your chart. Wow, what a sideways market. I can't get over it. So our macro pullback signal, have we hit our profit target? I think we have. Oh, just shy of it. We probably hit our break-even trigger. There we go. We hit our break-even, and there you go. You hit your profit target. So that macro pullback signal had just enough in it. Here's the hawk trade now. We've printed our signal. I'm going to give it another tick and enter above the high. Alright, so the buyers made a poke through there, and here on the Raptor, same scenario. Come on, get going. I guess I better get a stop and play here. That'd be a good idea. Oops, let's go the other way. And we'll just hold that stop for a little bit. There we go. Come on. Boy, did nobody show up? Is this a 4-day weekend? All right, William's got a question here about the flight path, and we'll might as well take a look at that, seeing how things are relatively quiet. I'm not liking that they're stalling here all the time. I'm not liking the lack of momentum to the upside. They fill us and then they stall. may have to, before we do the flight path, all right, I'm going to tighten my stops a little and hope that the market is going to have some follow through here and not start backing up on itself. Okay, give me a second here while I build a flight path market analyzer. So all the flight path is part of the market analyzer. Well, it's kind of a market analyzer type thing. So you have the DTS flight path. I actually already have it customized a little bit to my own liking. And all I've done is I've changed the order a little bit. I believe the DTS flight path has the Eagle first, then the Falcon, then the Hawk. I've just changed the order somewhat. So with the flight path, all you're really doing is adding your markets on here so that you can scan for opportunities. Oops. And I tend to group mine. This enables you to monitor what's going on in several markets at the same time. So I'm just going to throw a few on here so we can demonstrate. Now, where'd soybeans go? So what you can do is you can build your flight path like this, and then you can minimize it, set it off in the corner so it doesn't take up a lot of room. And what you're looking at is you can look for confluence across the markets. So here on the NQ, you can see all the tools are signaling long signals. So that kind of shows some sort of market momentum, or it's supposed to be showing market momentum. Here you can see the YM is showing just the opposite. It's showing nothing but short signals. And I've got a YM Raptor right here. And you can see that the YM is in fact a little bit more bearish today. We got a little bit of a cloud crossover signal here, produced a sell signal. Either this one or this one, depending how anxious you were to get in. So that's unusual, that they should be showing conflicting signals. But sometimes what happens is if you get, and I don't have an example here, you'll get something like your Hawk and your Falcon in sync, but the Eagle not in sync yet. Okay, well, this is pretty close. The E-mini, we've got 2 out of the 3 giving us long signals, but the E-mini Falcon is still short. So it's looking like the E-mini is getting a little bit more bullish. So you could go over to the E-mini and see whether or not there's a buy signal brewing there on the Falcon. The same thing here on the corn market. We've got a short signal here on the Falcon, but we're getting long on the Hawk and the Eagle. So you could go see whether the Falcon is going to sync up with those. So the flight path, it's useful if you're looking to scan several markets and you're looking for the markets to come back into sync with each other. I tend just to focus primarily on a handful of markets. I find I get enough signals just by following 3 or 4 markets at a time. William says your E-mini Falcon shows short, mine shows long. That would be because my E-mini Falcon is on a 4-tick chart. Yours might be on an 8-tick. I use the alternate settings for my E-mini. All right, here come the sellers. So we're going to take some serious heat on our trade here. No, not liking all this selling that's going on. Right back at 45.20. It's a rather familiar number, isn't it? You may want to jot that one down. That's probably going to be influential for the next few days. Okay, here we go. We're getting back into yellow bars. You know, that macro pullback starting to fail. Just a very, very quiet start to the week. Oh, brother. Looking for the buyers to come back one more time off of this 45.20 area. That's where they broke out before, so you know the buyers are going to try to support it. If we can get some support here, I'm going to get more aggressive with my stops on both the Falcon and the Raptor. Come on, just give us one more. There we go, they're trying. Okay, now depending how anxious you are, you may consider this bullish enough to start to cover the trade. In which case you can throw your stops right below here. If it fails at this point, then the market likely to head lower. And of course, if they recover at that point, well then they should continue to press higher. Well, there's not much going on. right, so the buyers did step up here again in this whole 45.20 zone. You could choose to roll your stops below this low. If they fail here, then they're probably going to keep sliding. Well, sometimes at the bottom of the hour we see the market reverse from the trend that it had in the morning, but there is no trend to reverse from here. Gold making some gains, crude moving kind of sideways since that little bit of a rally they had earlier. Steve asks, can you replace that dial indicator on the bottom right with the indicator you just showed, please? So the dial indicator, I'm assuming you're referring to the Geiger counter. And are you interested in the market analyzer? In the what's called the flight path? Is that the one you're referring to? The flight path. All right, let me build you another one because I deleted it. So what you do is you go here to your workspace and you're going to build a new market analyzer. And that's going to give you a screen that looks like this. And once you have the flight path, you just go and you load your templates. Well, here I'll show you what the DTS flight path looks like. This is how it comes out of the box. And then you add your instruments. So let's say we're going to follow, where are you? There you are, the NQ. We're going to follow the E-mini. We're going to follow the YM. And let's throw the mid cap in here. So these two tools actually do two different things. The Geiger counter is essentially a tape reader. It shows you the current buying and selling. The flight path tries to, excuse me, sorry, had a sneeze come along there. The flight path tries to alert you to possibilities within certain tools because of the way the birds are relating to each other. So right now we can see that the NQ, We're long the eagle, we're long the hawk, and we're short the falcon. Oh, and I suppose we can add the raptor to this as well. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the falcon now to come into sync. So you go over to the falcon and you say, well, our hawk is long, our eagle is long, and we're getting warning dots here, so I'll look for a buy opportunity on the falcon. That's the easiest way to use the flight path. When you've got two markets out of sync, you look for that third one to come back into sync. And of course, you can throw as many on there as you would like. Yes, oops, sorry. One sec here. Steve's asking, can you get rid of the price column? Absolutely. I'll show you how to do that. If you right click on here, you can go to your columns, and if you don't want the last price, you just highlight it, click remove, and it's gone. If you'd like to add something else from your assortment here, then you can certainly add that in. Oops, I forgot to apply it. There. And now the last price is gone. And if you want to rearrange your order, because you saw I had my order a little different, I don't know, does it allow me to drag it? No, you have to, oh, sorry, I know what I did. I just dragged it this way. Yes, that's right. There. So you can drag them around whichever way you want. So that's the Market Analyzer flight path. Well, this is the trading equivalent of watching paint dry today. Every time the buyers try to push the market up, the sellers knock them back down. I'm going to move now to a parabolic stop because I think we're going to see the market reverse from here, quite frankly. So I might as well keep my stops in tight. They're just taking too long. They're struggling too hard to move the market higher. Therefore, we're very likely to see a reversal. And so we got stopped here. Again, I was more aggressive with my stop. You could consider this a soft edge sell. And now it looks as though they are going to try to press the market lower. Get back here to this trend line, I suppose, on the eagle. Where we should see a little bit of a reaction. All right, we'll see if they give us a trend change signal now. You could consider this also a rule of 3 here on the Eagle. The rule of 3 ideally is always preceded by a test of the extreme, which we've seen right here now that the markets have retested these highs and failed. Problem is if this market is going to end up in a sideways range, which is entirely possible, we're very likely only going to see the market trade to the bottom end of this morning's action, which would put prices around 45.14, only to watch them bounce and try to recapture the highs once again. All right, there they go. They filled us to the short side. All right, so the hawk unfolded rather quickly. The Falcon did produce a double dot signal. Now, I know I don't point these out to you very often because they are counter trend, but whenever you get a double dot and you can tie it back into the recent history of the chart, you can say, oh, look what happened last time the market got up to this level. Let's try to short it. The nice thing about this double dot signal is that you've got a very obvious place to cover the trade, right? You can cover above the highs. If it fails at that point, in other words, if it brings you in on the short side and then reverses higher, well, you definitely know you're on the wrong side of the trade. I don't normally fully capitalize on that type of situation. Because it is counter trend, because it is risky, I'll very often just throw in a onesie, see what happens. But in this case, you can see there was some pretty decent follow through on that one. And now we are right here at this 45.14 line, which also happens to be primary support and where we started the day. Okay, getting a first micro macro cross lower on the hawk. What's the problem with this one? Well, we've got very little structure here to cover this trade. It's not the kind of trade I want to take just like this. If I'm going to try to cover it tighter, I'll probably enter below the low and maybe do one of those. But like I said, we're back down here where the day started. Whenever you suspect the market is in a sideways range, there's one of two things, well, there's three things you can do. The simplest thing is do nothing, right? The market's sideways, ignore it. Alternatively, you can try to buy the bottom end of the range, look for the market to move a little higher, sell the top end of the range, look for the market to move a little bit lower. Because the market is, or you suspect it is sideways, you really just want short-term targets. You don't want to be too aggressive with your profit. If the market's showing you $50 or $100, just take it, say thank you very much, and look for the next opportunity. Alternatively, what you can do is you can let it try to break out. Look for that retest of the breakout and then buy or sell accordingly. This is also a good plan. The problem with sideways markets is obviously you don't want to sell the bottom end of the trading range or buy the top end of the trading range. So here I'm throwing this order in on the bottom end of the trading range after I told you not to do it. I'm basing this on the probabilities of the first micro-macro cross. My challenge is going to be riding out a possible swing. All right, so let's see whether we get some bearish follow-through now. Now that we're at the bottom end of this trading range, what we're looking for is we're looking to capitalize on this. Sorry, here's the bottom end of the trading range. We're looking to capitalize on this breakout, perhaps get down here before the market tries to retest, maybe scalp out with our profit objective, and then look for the market to come back and give us another sell signal. That's the plan. Good morning, Jim. Jim says we've got an advanced decline of 1,600 on the buy and 1,300 on the sell, so fairly even. And the YM is down at the 10 a.m. low, as is the NASDAQ. NASDAQ playing around at the lows of the morning. Why is that significant? Well, very often that first half-hour range can be influential